The F8F Bearcat is a rank 4 BR 5.7 American fighter which keeps the naval tradition of being named after some sort of cat. In this case, it's been named after a cat that looks like Hairy Monster from Sesame Street. This naval fighter's main quality is its flight performance. It has one of the best climb rates in the game. It can outearn pretty much any fighter at medium to high speeds that isn't Japanese or a Spitfire, and finally it can even outspeed fighters like the F4U Corsair despite being powered by the same Pratt & Whitney engine. But what kills this fighter is its weaponry. Its 450 caliber machine guns are about as effective as Italy during World War II. I mean seriously, with a burst mass of just over 2 kilograms it is more effective to wait for the enemy to run out of fuel than to shoot at them. Short of hitting an enemy pilot in the eye, these weapons will do very little. You also only get just over 1,200 rounds, which does not last very long. This means that sometimes you have to turn yourself into the ammunition.
And his name is John C.
To begin with, load ground targets or stealth belts into your machine guns and either choose 13 or 20 minutes of fuel. I usually prefer stealth, but either one will slightly improve the amount of damage your shit machine guns can do. Once in the air, climbing is important because while you can turn fight, this aircraft is not great at retaining energy, so you can find yourself losing 150 to 200 kilometers an hour for one complete turn. Therefore it is a better idea to employ boom and zoom tactics. Boom and zoom refers to gaining energy in a dive, making an attacking pass, which is the boom part, and then zooming back up to a higher altitude so that you cannot be followed and shot at. But to do this you have to gain potential energy, which can be later converted into speed. To gain potential energy you have to climb. Each aircraft has its own optimal climb angle, but for the F8F climbing at a speed of 240 km an hour, yes. I have linked a climb chart in the description of this video which details the climb speeds of most aircraft in the game. Another thing to quickly note is that the F8F can become somewhat unresponsive in a steep dive, making aiming difficult. Defensive flying is also important with the F8F. However, there are a couple of different methods depending on your enemy. But before we move on, I would like you to consider liking and subscribing. These take a long time to make and it would mean a lot to me. Defensive flying in the F8F comes down to what kind of aircraft you are facing. If it's a turn fighter like a Spitfire, or a Japanese aircraft. Or is it an interceptor like a Bf-109 or an FW-190? With the aforementioned turn fighters, you have a big enough speed and climb advantage to simply turn away and make another pass later. If they have an energy advantage, you are a small brain gamer, considering you should easily be able to outclimb these fighters. With interceptors it is to your advantage to initiate a turn fight. As you see in this example, this He-162 has damaged me, however I still initiate a turn fight with him, eventually damaging him, which scares him off. the F8F is a very good fighter. However, I would recommend researching the 1B variant of it, while at a higher BR, being placed at 6.3 instead of 5.7, it fixes the weaponry issue as it is equipped with cannons instead of machine guns. Overall it is a very capable aircraft, and it can become a Silver Lion printer with careful aiming. Just one more time, I would like you to consider liking and subscribing, as it would mean a lot to me. Once again, cheers fellas.